Hello, friends. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. Happy to be with you this afternoon. It has been a wet one again in Middle Tennessee as we've been experiencing light rain and a general mistiness, a general fall feeling over the last several days. And today is there's a continuation of that. It's no exception. This Wednesday, October 29, 2025, it feels a lot like fall outside and, well, right, it should, because it is. It's 6 minutes after 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN and all across Middle Tennessee. We say thank you for listening and thank you for being with us. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's day 286 of Donald Trump's second term as President of the United States of America. We like to remind our liberal friends in the audience that early so that they can kind of absorb it, get it out of the way. That's 286 of 1,460.5 days that he will be your president of the United States of America. My goodness gracious, I think I have a fatal error in the studio. We'll talk about those fatal errors coming up in a moment. Speaking of fatal errors, Jackson Williams is behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. Jackson is the soon-to-be erstwhile executive producer of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, and we appreciate the few moments that we have left with him. Hello, Jackson.
Go Vols.
Good to have you with us. Speaking of the Volunteers, they'll be taking on the Oklahoma Sooners this weekend at Neyland Stadium. And the finest Sooner that I know of, the finest Sooner in the land, delivers the news twice an hour and when it breaks.
That's Ken Weaver's music.
That ain't. I don't feel like that's right. I don't feel like it's right. I don't think it's fitting. I don't think that Ken has to put up with it. I don't think Ken should put up with it.
I press the button so Ken does.
I like how we like to keep Jackson with the illusion that he has a level of control because it keeps him a little satiated. It keeps him at bay. Hey, Ken Weaver, how are you?
How about you boys?
What's going on with you, man?
Just, writing up news and putting up with Jackson. He started in on me already.
Seconds.
Off mic, he started in
Oh,
on
did he
me.
really?
Yes.
He is full of himself. There's no talking with him, Ken. He's not accustomed to – you can tell that these young Tennessee fans, they're not accustomed to the winning. They're not used to the winning.
They lost my whole life. I'm going to enjoy my 20s.
Enjoy today, my friend. Saturday might be a little bit different.
Yeah, he told me off mic, he said, not much traffic in that Sooner end zone, is there, Ken?
You know, I told Jackson earlier that I would like to take credit for this. I cannot take credit for this. I would give credit if I could remember who I heard it from, but it was since we have spoken last that I've heard this, that the Tennessee Volunteer Oklahoma Sooner game this Saturday in Neyland Stadium will be a game between the movable object and the resistible force. Normally you hear that, it's the immovable object versus the irresistible force.
Yes.
Well, this game is the movable object versus the resistible force. And what that means is, Ken Weaver, and Jackson, you don't get to answer because you know the answer. Do you know the fewest amount of points that the Tennessee Volunteers have allowed an SEC opponent this year?
The fewest?
Fewest points they've allowed an SEC opponent.
You know what? No, I don't.
31.
Really?
31. That is your movable object.
That's encouraging.
Do you know how many points the Oklahoma Sooners, as a member of the SEC, have ever scored against an SEC team?
26.
I thought it was 27.
Nope, 26.
26. There you have it. The movable object versus the resistible force.
Yeah.
Who breaks? Will Tennessee allow less than 31? Will Oklahoma score more than 26? I feel like that's where the game's won or lost, fellas. I do.
John Mateer's going to throw a pick six.
Hey, did you fix the TV? Did you just fix the television?
Did I?
I don't know. You're working. You're getting close to it.
Mine's broken, so.
Maybe Brother Jackson just fixed yours.
Well, maybe. Mine says that my video signal has been interrupted. Yeah. Did we not pay the bill? Is that what happened? Yeah. We didn't pay the bill. That's what happened.
Somebody better pay that bill.
Well, I'll try to pay a few bills this afternoon. See if we can't get the television back on for Dan Mandis in Nashville's Morning News. He needs it. It's 10 minutes after 3 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's a little bit of sports talk on the News Talk station as we anticipate. I'm anticipating this game between the Sooners and the Vols. I think more than between my beloved Georgia Bulldogs and the Florida Gators. I mean, I don't know why, but I am.
It's going to be good. I think it's going to be just like. Well, hopefully not just like, but it's going to be a lot like Ole Miss in Oklahoma because I kind of think the Vols offense might be better than Ole Miss's.
That freshman corner, it's a tall task taking on 6'5", 220 pounds of Chris Brazzle Dazzle.
Yeah, I remember that fella.
We did all right against Ole Miss's big old boy out there.
I remember that fella from our game. No good.
Matt didn't know who he was until he had already had 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's the thing. That's the Vols guy.
He did sneak up on Georgia like a.
Who's that guy that keeps scoring touchdowns in the first quarter?
I got a text about halfway through the second quarter. Who the hell is 17?
Who the hell is number 17? He's a man-child.
Well, he looks like he's 8 feet tall.
He does. He's a huge mammoth of a man standing out there on the outskirts of the offensive line, just waiting to catch the football and run into the touchdown for another Tennessee Vols score.
Josh is going to spread us out. He's going to spread that defense out.
There's a few guys who know Venables. One of them is Josh Heupel.
Yeah, and so does, let's see, there's another one on y'all's team that knows Venables really well, Seth Luttrell.
Yeah, our offensive analyst was OU's offensive coordinator last season.
Yeah.
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation at this point. Just allowing it to kind of work its way. I like
just
the fact
say go Vols and move on.
I just really appreciate that you two are talking in a friendly fashion. Hey Ken, what side of the stadium are you sitting on? Do you know?
I can't remember.
You're on the Tennessee side.
I think I'm in the Tennessee. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be in in a sea of orange.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean I think there's no doubt about that wherever you might go. But you'll find your Sooner faithful. Ken, is it true? We kind of explored this yesterday. Is it true that being a Sooner is basically being a cheater?
Well,
right, because that's the genesis.
Technically,
they went.
Yes.
There was a right, like that was the land rush, right?
They went before they were supposed to.
Because they wanted to get the best land.
They wanted to get the best land, yes, sir.
And so they were called the Sooners because they went too soon.
Right.
Well,
they were real fast.
Squirrely, wily, getting on them.
Like Ken Weaver himself.
I could see Weaver driving a wagon train, couldn't y'all? Up there in the seat with a little wiry fella riding shotgun with a little rifle across his knees.
I imagine Ken is the wiry fella.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'd be up on a horse going, "Giddy up, old paint!"
Yeah.
Ho! Ho!
I could hear you say "Ya mule." Ya mule.
Ya mule. Ya mule.
Man, back in the day. All right, we've got a lot to get into on this Wednesday edition. Obviously, our good friend Cameron Smith will be along with us in the second half of the show, delivering, thrilling us with his acumen on the news of the day. Donald Trump continues to conduct activity, economic activity and otherwise, overseas. The news cycle in Washington, D.C. kind of dies off just a little bit when Donald Trump is no longer in town. We have reached a day 29 of the government shutdown, and not a lot of folks believe that it's going to get much further than day 30 or maybe day 31, or perhaps we will leach into November, but very soon after, SNAP benefits will run out for millions of Americans, and when that occurs, obviously, there will be much pressure on the political left to go ahead and open up the government, something that they could do today. There have been 13 separate votes, and 13 separate times the Democrats have refused to open up the government. The Republicans have agreed to that. Now, several of my left-of-center friends have made the point to me and otherwise, generally speaking, that the Republicans, they're not moving on all of this, they say. They're not shifting their position. They're not coming to a table of compromise and offering anything to the political left. My friends, this is Joe Biden's budget. Do not allow yourself to fall for this false narrative. This is Joe Biden's budget. These are Joe Biden's figures. We are continuing government growth at an unabated pace. And I would suggest to you that if there are any conservatives in Washington, D.C., any conservatives at all, those conservatives don't want this current level of spending. As a matter of fact, you've not seen any cutting yet. You think we cut from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting? That is chump change to what needs to happen to actually dig into the federal government and stop the overspending. We are on a path of unsustainability. And most conservatives recognize that. So do not for a moment suggest to me that the Republicans are not giving up a little bit on this point. They're allowing for a continuation of spending at Joe Biden levels. And Joe Biden levels are post-COVID levels. If you want to scare the hell out of yourself and your family this Halloween season, go look at spending from 2016. 2016, the year that Donald Trump was first elected as president of the United States of America. Go look at spending from 2015, the last full year, or I guess the second to last full year of the Barack Obama presidency. And look at where spending levels went from 2015 to 2016 to 2017 to 2018 to 2019. And then look at 2020. Then look at 2020. And then look at 2021 and 2022 and 2023 and 2024. Now, I am sad to tell you that they haven't gone down very much from 2020 levels and 2021 levels. Those were COVID-era spending levels in which the federal government increased its spending by not hundreds of millions, not billions, but trillions of dollars. And we've not stopped spending that amount of money. We are adding $1 trillion of debt, and I know that I'm preaching to the choir here, and I understand that you understand this, but it merits repeating. Hopefully you'll repeat it to your family and friends to the point that they'll begin to understand that we cannot continue to traipse beside this graveyard without a ghost or a goblin coming out and getting us, and it will happen. To further the Halloween analogies, we are overspending by $1 trillion every 180 roughly days. And we are well on our way to $40 trillion in debt. It is the singular greatest existential threat that the United States of America faces. Not China, not some, conflict with Russia, not any other foreign entity, our own selfish spending. And our inability to cut ourselves off of the government teat, which circles right back around to SNAP benefits, a conversation that we had at length yesterday. It is a damned shame that it takes government dependence to get the government opened up back again. And I don't know when we got to a place where most of us considered it to be normal that 42 million Americans depend on the benefits provided by government borrowing and by the tax-paying citizens in the form of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, a.k.a. SNAP, a.k.a. food stamps. I used to say, well, I'll say this. Absent mental or physical disability, long-term poverty in the United States of America is a choice. End of sentence. America is, even with all of the faults that we talk about on a regular basis, the greatest beacon of hope on this globe for independent thinking, for personal responsibility, for personal and familial liberty, and for an ability, if you present the desire, if you present the want to, you have every ability in the United States of America to can do. Not a lot of countries can say that, and no country can say it like we can say it. It does not mean that we have not for the most part in American history, we did not live up to the promise of the Declaration of Independence. Sadly. We recognize that. We are closer to fulfilling that promise than ever before in the United States of America. And there are many people that make a lot of money downing this country. There are many people that make a lot of money dividing people by class or race, national origin, ethnicity. And it bears reminding and repeating that we remain the greatest country on God's green earth. And if you have the want to, absent mental or physical disability, there are precious little excuses in the United States of America. I understand that bad things happen to good people. I understand that people go through temporary issues, things that they could not possibly foresee happening to them, whether they come in the form of a natural disaster, whether they come in the form of, an untimely divorce, where a woman who is a part of a family who has 2 children now becomes a single mother and has to figure that out. I'm very sensitive to those things. Hell, I was raised by a single mother and my grandparents. I get it. But I stand by what I said. And if you're budgeting monthly food stamps into your budget, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I'm not coming after you. I'm not suggesting that there should not be a final social safety net that provides that sort of thing. But right now, what's happening, because the government remains shut down, there is an insistence on the part of the political left who started this, who created this. They're now demanding that Republicans end it, that Republicans fix it. There is a growing demand in the state of Tennessee that Governor Bill Lee provide monies to make up for an absence of the monies that are necessary for the SNAP program. Why in the hell should Republicans make up for what Democrats caused? And frankly, it's far easier for the Democrats in Washington, D.C. to solve this by going and voting to reopen the government. I do believe it's an opportunity for us to have a long look at government assistance and how far these benefits, how far these dependencies go, and how to break Americans free of the shackles of government dependence. And that's exactly what it is. The more that Democrats convince us that we are dependent on, and now the new narrative is this. Have you heard this one? That if we don't have the SNAP program in November, that grocery stores are going to close because grocery stores are dependent on food stamps. What? Yeah, that's the new narrative. That without food stamps, people won't buy food. And without people buying food, the grocery stores can't exist. Well, if that's where we are, shut them all down, for God's sakes. Or just do like Mom Dami wants to do in New York and make them all government grocery stores. How does that work in other countries that have tried that? Ask Mother Russia and the USSR back in the day. 24 after the hour, just getting underway. It's the Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us on this Wednesday edition. You can find us on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart, our own app, SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. And then, of course, episode 913 is on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Back in a moment. If I'm grumpy, oh, this is nice. I see you can. Never mind. I'm not going to take out my grumpy on you, Jackson. I was going to say something snarky, but I've chosen to be the better man, as Ken Weaver is. Yes, all this week. He's choosing to be the better man.
That's a great song.
What is that song, Jackson?
Ain't No Love in Oklahoma by Luke Combs.
Yeah. Ain't No Love in Oklahoma. Does that mean that you don't care for Oklahoma?
I guess not.
Have you ever been to Oklahoma, Jackson?
Have not.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming to you, buddy.
I guess that has Tennessee, y'all went over there last year. Is that right?
And we whooped them.
You didn't whip us.
12 points.
Yeah, we had Jackson Arnold, who fumbled twice
We had Nico.
on the goal line.
Okay. I did this to myself. I did that to myself. Well, I just look forward to the game. That's all. I'm just looking forward to the game.
See,
fellas.
that's what I'm going to do.
I'm with you, fellas.
I'm just going to say, boy, that sure was a good game.
It was a good game. And Jackson will not be here on Monday because he'll be floating down the Cumberland River as he attempts to commit Harry Carey after the loss in Neyland Stadium. Second
What's
time
Harry
this year.
Carey?
Just not Harry Carey like the announcer, Harry Carey like the. Just look it up. Just look it up. It means you want to do harm to yourself as a result of a ritualistic harm to yourself as a result of an event such as a loss in a football contest of skill. Kathy writes in and says, Matt, I became a single mother when my son was a year old. I lived with my brother's family for a year until I was able to get a job and get a place of my own. I've never taken government money to feed myself or my son. Good for you, Kathy. That's the way that it should be done. Then 3618 says grocery stores do rely heavily on food stamps as a portion of their overall revenue. I was once a grocery store manager. If your grocery store cannot exist without food stamps, then your grocery store, I don't know what to tell you. The government is not a jobs program, nor should the government be a money program. Your suggestion that the American populace cannot exist without government is a suggestion that the government somehow creates its own form of revenue, which doesn't happen. It takes money from other places, and it borrows money against the future of the United States of America. We used to say that we borrowed money against the backs of our... I don't say that anymore. People say, oh, we're borrowing money against our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. That's a lie. It's a lie. We are not borrowing money against our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. To say that is to suggest that we're going to pay it back. Now, let's get beyond that. And I'm in a little bit of a mood, probably because it's hot in the studio. But let's be real clear. Let's stop fooling ourselves. We're never paying this money back, ever. I get very animated by this. I get very angry, and I don't want to be that angry. I don't want to be that frustrated. I do not, for the life of me, understand how people think we can escape without paying our bills. We will never pay the $40 trillion back, ever. We can't even stop adding to it, guys. We can't even find politicians that tell you that it is ultimately not the job of the American government to feed your kids. That is not the government's job. That is not the tax-paying citizen's job. Now, I appreciate the fact that it's a final safety net, but it's not looked at that way anymore. Hence, these comments about grocery stores not being able to survive without food stamps. And I understand that the previous texter is not suggesting that that's the way that it should be. This texter is simply suggesting that that's the way that it is. And I understand that that's the reality right now. But we are pretending as if this is free money, free money, free money, free money, free money. It's not free money. And we'll never pay it back. So don't allow people to get away with saying, well, we're putting this on the backs of our grandchildren. No, we're not. We are borrowing money against the future of this country. Meaning every dollar that we borrow is a step closer to financial insolvency. And when we become financially insolvent, when we begin defaulting on our debts, our economic system of government will collapse. Our economic system and ultimately our government will collapse. And that's when liberals will swoop in and demand that we try socialism. When they created the dynamics largely that we're currently living in. And Republicans are going along with it. It's very frustrating. George is next. Hey, George. Hello, George.
what's up?
Oh, nothing much, George. Just putting on a little radio show. What are you doing?
I'm putting on a few pounds, but you guys got to pass this budget, so I don't want my benefits to get cut off.
Yeah? What benefits?
Well, it's a free country.
What benefits?
The SNAP benefits.
Yeah? You got your SNAP coming to you?
Yeah, you know it, because I don't want to be losing no weight.
How much you bringing in on a monthly basis, George?
Well, depends on not much.
Not much?
Mm-mm.
How much you weighing in at?
325.
325. Well, we can't have you losing any of that weight. Waste away to nothing, George.
I know. I appreciate y'all working hard to provide that for me, but I need it.
Yeah, we're doing our best, brother. We're doing everything we can. Help keep you up.
Push the train
Hey,
harder.
you a working fella?
Well, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. What'd you do for a living, George?
I used to clean the bathrooms down there at Walmart, but they wanted me to do a better job, they said.
Yeah. All right. Well, say hey to Mama and them.
Hey, I'll do it.
All right, brother. I'll see you later. George. I mean, George was putting us on, right?
I was getting ready to say, was that tongue in cheek?
Yeah, I think so. I think George was trying to talk like Carl from Sling Blade. I work down there at Walmart. They want me to clean them toilets. They pay me in French fried potatoes.
Put some more mustard on
mustard and
potatoes.
biscuits. Ain't got any gas in it. I feel like that's what George was doing with us.
I think George was.
Maybe George was the real deal. George said he was 325. That's a big old fella.
That's a big old boy.
Oh, yeah. George, that's going to take a lot of food stamps, George. CNN host Jake Tapper, believe it or not, when we have CNN correcting these liberals, that's saying something. I have audio and video opportunity here for you, Jackson. Remember we played this video of Melanie Stansbury yesterday late in the show? And she was all beside herself because she was walking by the East Wing, and she was almost in tears, lamenting the fact that the East Wing was gone. The East Wing is gone. They bulldozed at $300 million, and they're taking food from the mouths of children. Well, even CNN isn't buying the garbage that this lady is spewing. This is from earlier, I guess today on CNN with Jake Tapper, where Representative Melanie Stansbury of New Mexico was presenting her argument that this is Trump's shutdown and it's Donald Trump's desire to have people go
Should
hungry.
the Democratic senators from New Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding
this
their.
is
I'm
a
not applauding
choice
their
by
tactics.
the White House.
Well,
this is a choice by the White House.
This
They
is
are
also,
choosing
Congresswoman,
to
this
cut
is
off
also a
food
choice
assistance.
by Senate Democrats
No,
to not
it is
vote to
not.
open the government. Yes, it is.
This
I understand
Senate-
why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want Medicaid funds restored. They're doing it because they want Obamacare premiums to be extended past the end of the year. I understand the reasoning.
Sir, let me just be clear. The money for contingency plans is sitting there. That is why the states are suing. The White House is withholding funds from
2 to 3
children
weeks worth
to
of
have
SNAP funds.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it may not be a big deal to you, but let me
It is
tell
a big
you
deal
that
to
for
me.
the grandparents, for
It
grandparents
is a big deal
that
to me.
literally are feeding their children,
My point
to
is that
not
it's a
have
short-term
money
solution.
in those accounts.
It's
it
a
doesn't
short-term-
matter. At the end of the day, people need to be able to feed their families, and Saturday is when those funds
If you
run
feel
out,
so
and we are
strongly,
fighting to
Congresswoman,
get
why
that
not
funding.
ask the Senate Democrats from New Mexico to vote to open the government so that the SNAP funds...
Sir, I am here in the House of Representatives. It is shut down. I am fighting to get the government reopened. I am fighting to get funding put back into SNAP that is already existent, and I am fighting for the American people. I am here. But show me a single Republican that is here. Not a single one is here to make sure that Americans are fed on Saturday. That is why I am here.
Democratic Congresswoman Melanie.
Okay, he gave up. He just gave up. Jake, we're gonna break this down for you. Tapper gave up. This is not a serious person. Jake Tapper, when you lose Jake Tapper, when you lose CNN, when you're saying we need the government to reopen because we're going to lose the SNAP benefits and all of the people in New Mexico that are dependent on SNAP benefits and Albuquerque and all those little, they're going to lose their money and we need that. And the president's choosing to do this. The president did not choose to shut down the government. The Democrats chose to shut down the government. The president did not choose to prevent SNAP benefits from going out on November 1st. The president did not engage in any activity whatsoever that would shut down the government. That's all Democrats. And all Jake Tapper was asking is, would Melanie Stansbury ask the Democrat senators in New Mexico to vote to reopen the government? And she refused to answer the question. I'm here. I'm working. What are you talking about, lady? The House of Representatives has already passed the resolution to keep the government open. The government is shut because of the Democrats in the Senate. Don't you get that? One more time for those in the back. Listen to Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper is no conservative. Jake Tapper is a moderate at best. Left of center, obviously. And he's getting frustrated with these people because they're not making any sense.
Should the Democratic senators from New Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children.
Okay, it's a stupid talking point for stupid people. And what makes me want to vomit over these politicians is how smart they think they're being. Let me be clear. This administration is No, they're not. You Democrats are doing this. Apparently, y'all think we're dumb. Apparently, you're dumb.
With money that they already have appropriated.
These are, by the way, what she's referring to are emergency contingency funds that the White House controls in the event of natural disasters. And the White House maintains that legally they don't know that they can spend this money while the government is shut down voluntarily by Democrats. So the suggestion is they use monies that's typically set aside for emergency operations during times of emergency, most often during times of natural disaster, so that money can get to those areas most needed when other functions of the government cannot happen during natural disasters. That's what they're referring to. They're laying this off on the Republican president of the United States of America when he had nothing to do with shutting down the government to begin with.
I'm not applauding their tactics.
By the White House.
Well,
this is a choice by the White House.
This is also, Congresswoman, this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the...
Okay, you hear her deny reality? Tapper... It's also a choice by Senate Democrat. No, it's not. Ma'am, you are literally not making any sense. You're just lying.
The government. Yes, it is. I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want Medicaid funds restored. They're doing it because they want Obama.
By the way, Medicaid funds restored to COVID level era. The COVID level era allowed for illegal aliens to receive medical benefits on the back of the tax-paying citizens, which is what the argument has been from Republicans all along.
Obamacare premiums to be extended past the end of the year. I understand the reasoning.
Sir, let me just be clear. The money...
This woman, by the way, yesterday, remember, she couldn't stop saying literally. Now she can't stop saying, let me be clear.
For contingency plans is sitting there. That is why the states are suing. The White House is withholding funds from
2 to 3 weeks worth of SNAP funds.
Food.
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks, by the way.
Yeah, well, it may not be a big deal to you, but let me tell you that for the grandparents, for grandparents
big deal to
that
me.
literally are feeding their children.
My point
to
is that
not
it's a
have
short-term
money
solution.
In those accounts.
It's
it
a
doesn't
short-term.
matter. At the end of the day, people need to be able to feed their families, and Saturday is when those funds.
I find it fascinating that a member of Congress is arguing that her constituency is not able to feed their families without government, the federal government, giving them the money to do so. I find that we're in a fascinating place in American society when there are how many millions of Americans have just given up on the idea of feeding them their families on their own? I'll tell you a story. I've told this story in the past about reduced lunch at school. I'll tell you the story real quick. I got a minute. My mother had a malignant brain tumor when I was at the age of 5. And my brother and my sister and myself lived with my grandparents, and my grandparents became our parents. My grandfather was not, he was probably barely middle class, but you put on top of that raising 3 grandchildren, recognizing the school system knew about my mother's disability, and they sent me home with a note one day. I did not know what the note said. It was like one of those notes that's pinned to you, and it was a reduced lunch note. I'll tell you what. I can't finish this story because we're late. I'll go to a break. I'll finish up the story on the other side regarding my grandpa and reduced lunch. It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.